Hi everyone, this is Noelle for Petitti Garden Centers, and we're here at Oakwood Village, back in the houseplant department, so we're really excited. And I wanted to talk to you today about watering houseplants. And it can be challenging. It's definitely a high question topic that we hear from all the time. And I want to tell you, it is not an exact science, that the routine is not really there. Depending on the room, the light, the temperature, the humidity, the plant size, the soil you use, all these factors kind of go into how you water a houseplant. So I hate to tell you, I would never be able to say you need a quarter cup of water and water this once every 5 days. It just doesn't work that way, and it's going to be different for everybody growing their houseplants in different environments. So a couple things to keep in mind. The brighter the light, the higher the temperature, the increase in water, okay? So it'll change during the year too. So in winter, when we get the lower light levels, the cooler temperatures, your plants just won't need as much water. But as we move into the summer, higher light, higher temperatures, your plants are gonna need an increase in water, okay? Higher humidity usually means you don't have to water as much. So if you increase the humidity around your plants by using a humidity tray, right here, I have a tray with pebbles in it, and you just fill it with a little water, place your plants on top of that humidity tray, and as the water evaporates, it creates a more humid condition. That's a good thing for the plants and for you too. It can actually cut down on airborne disease, so that's a good thing. So humidity, we covered those. Then, if you have a pot, a big pot, and it's got a lot of soil in it, let's say a regular potting soil, that's also going to be able to absorb a lot of moisture and hold on to that moisture near the root system, okay? So just be aware, all of these factors can really make a difference. The other thing that you want to consider is plant biology. If a plant has a lot of thin, sort of numerous leaves, if you will, like this rabbit's foot fern, it's probably going to need more water maintenance than, let's say, a little succulent. Even though it's a little succulent, it still is holding a lot of water in its leaves. It has a very small soil space, so again, doesn't need a lot of water, okay? The one tip I do want to give you that everybody should live by when watering their houseplants is trying to keep them on the drier side of watering, okay? If a plant totally wilts and you realize it and you go ahead and water, normally that plant has a good chance of recuperating, okay? If you overwater and that plant totally wilts because it is overwatered at that point, there is not a good chance of that plant recuperating because you might have caused root rot or some disease in that respect. So just keep that in mind. Try to keep your plants on the drier side of watering. When you do go in water, what we want you to use is room temperature water, and we want you to try to water in the morning. For every plant out there, outside and inside, watering in the morning is absolutely the best because it enables that plant to use the water throughout the day, whether it's photosynthesizing or transpiring or what have you, whatever that plant's doing, okay? And they can use it through the day, and then there won't be anything left at night. If you're watering in the evening, there's a chance that water is going to sit there and maybe cause a problem like rotting again or a disease issue, okay? What I do is I will fill up my watering can in the evening before I go to bed. I'll just leave it on the counter in the kitchen, and I'll just let it come to room temperature, which is the best temperature to water your plants. And then all of the things that we put in our water to clean our teeth and everything, that actually dissipates overnight, and then you're ready to water in the morning. So the next thing you can do is you can take your plant and you can put it over the sink or maybe over a drip tray. Whoops, I'm gonna move this bromeliad really quick. And we're gonna water it. And in order to thoroughly water, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the plant over the sink or over the drip tray, and then you're gonna thoroughly moisten the soil in the pot until the water comes out the drainage holes. There it goes. So it's draining out the bottom of the drainage holes. You want that to happen. You don't want your plant to be sitting in water, okay? Do that one more time. So you're gonna repeat. You're gonna go ahead, thoroughly moisten the plant soil, and let the water come out the bottom of the drainage holes. When it's done draining, you're gonna go ahead and put it back in its pretty pot, and you're gonna go ahead and just put it back in place until the next time you need to water, okay? How do you know when you need to water next, okay? Well, I think one of the easiest ways is to lift up the pot. If the pot feels heavy to you, and you'll get to notice really, really easily, if the pot feels heavy, you probably have plenty of water for your plant, and so wait another couple days. If the pot's really, really light, or the plant is wilting, of course, then of course you need to thoroughly water that plant, okay? It's always better to thoroughly water instead of just little bits of water at a time, okay? The other thing that you can use is your finger. Stick your finger in, and of course I just watered this spathiphyllum, but when you stick your finger in, when you pull it out, you'll notice that there's going to be soil and also moisture. And that, so if soil is sticking to your finger, it's a pretty good idea that there's probably moisture in that pot, okay? And you just stick it in about an inch or so to the first knuckle, right around there. You can also use a green bamboo stake. These are really nice to have around, have handy for you, and they're great moisture indicators. So you can go ahead, stick the bamboo stake into the soil about an inch or so, pull it out. Same thing, you're gonna notice that there is soil on this stake, and also it's gotten slightly darker green, indicating that there's moisture in the soil. Of course, we just watered it, okay? The other thing that you can use is a moisture meter. So if you want to really be sure that you're applying a good amount of moisture or when the plants are dry, you can go ahead and you put the probe right into the soil, about 3/4 of the depth of the soil, and you can get a good indication if you've got moisture in that soil as well, okay? So those are all good things to remember. Another thing that I want you to remember is the humidity level. So remember I mentioned that the higher humidity, usually the less you have to water. So you can spray mist your plants, absolutely, especially in the winter. They love to get spray misted, keeps that humidity high around them. Or if you don't have a mister bottle or a spray bottle handy, again, you can go ahead and you can kind of cluster your plants on the humidity tray. That'll keep a moist or humid condition around them. And that will actually continue, the water will evaporate in that tray and will create that humid condition around the plant. So either way, whichever you'd like to do, increasing that humidity is really a good thing. I'm trying to think if there's something else I forgot, but I think for the most part, folks, just remember, practice makes perfect. That watering is not necessarily routine. It's going to change throughout the year. It's going to change from room to room in your home. And if you do, just remember, err on the drier side of watering. Okay, one more thing that I did forget is bottom watering. So some plants, especially fuzzy leafed plants, actually would prefer to get watered from the bottom, and that's fine. You actually will put the water in their drip tray or saucer, and then you'll let them absorb the water from there. And that's actually a very healthy way to water plant material. You can kind of watch as they absorb what they need. Caution statement here is that don't let them sit in that water for too long. So let's say after about 30 minutes or so, if they haven't absorbed that water, they probably won't. So you're gonna wanna get rid of that water, okay, discard that water, and then go ahead, put them back in place, and let's see what happens from there. One of those plants is the African violet, and they make special pots for African violet. So basically you can plant your African violet in the top, and then you'd go ahead and put your water down in the base, and then go ahead and set that African violet back down into the water. It'll absorb what it needs, but again, it's good to check in about 30 minutes or so and see if there's any water left over. Go ahead and discard it, and you're ready to go. Enjoy.